Mike Pillow, who we haven't seen a lot of lately because he's been doing a tour. He's been doing this great reset, semi-religious, Awaken America, Nasara Jasara, semi-Q horseshit, and I, which is glorious, just embarrassing and stupid, and I'm glad that that's how he's spending his time. He's doing two activities: yammering the same old shit and trying to make friends by, I guess, screaming at the choir, and having Brandon House pick his fucking pockets. But this is the title of this one is the January 6th setup, the big trap. So it seems to be, and this is on first glance, and we'll see if I'm right about this, as I usually am, that Mike Pillow seems to think that all you maggots out there, January hold on, 6th. Stay where you are. All of you maggots out there who thought January 6th was going to be 1776 all over again, and that Trump was your guy and he was going to have your back and blah blah blah. Apparently, according to Mike Pillow, you guys are a bunch of suckers. You're just big dummies, and you don't have two brain cells to rub together, and you wouldn't even know what the fuck to do with your days if it wasn't for the Mike Pillows of the world, you know, giving you little chase down activities, I guess shitting on Fox in small comment rooms or whatever, like comment threads, and buying his pillows so you can try to get a good night's sleep with your shitty conscience because you participated in or supported or were, you know, ranting and raving about a situation where cops were beaten and tased and attacked so that people 10, 15 people back could just step over their bodies to get into the building.
They had the January 6th setup going on. They didn't care. That was the big trap. That was their safety net.
Yes, the January 6th was a big trap. Apparently set by Donald Trump and Mark Meadows and Shemp.
So they're going, who cares? Let's steal it all. It's over. They bragged about it in a New York Times article. New York Times.
I missed that one. Somebody help me find the one where they bragged about stealing the election.
They bragged about it.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't see it. It had to be in all caps, giant type.
So when January 6th came and went,
it does that every year. I'm just saying. It's fucking calendars, man.
The most important dates that you guys need to know, it'll go down in history, is we got through the 7th and 8th of January, which were...
We? Fuck do you mean we? The rest of the country did. You're the reason we almost didn't.
So important. And by the way, on January 7th, do you know that John Radcliffe, he's the head of defense or whatever for the government, came out with the report that said China had intruded into the election of 2020? That came out on January 7th, but you didn't see it in the news, you know, but it came.
Hold on there, pal. Give me, because I think I remember something about that. Yeah, so this is President Trump's political appointees clash with career intelligence analysts over the extent to which Russia and China interfered or sought to interfere in the 2020 election. That's this right here. Read Radcliffe's letter. I don't mind if I do. Let's see. We click here to download if the document is visible. Okay. Subject: Views on intelligence community election security analysis. Intelligence community assessment foreign threats to the 2020 elections. This is unclassified, thank God. From my unique vantage point as the individual who consumes all of the U.S. government's most sensitive intelligence on the People's Republic of China, I do not believe the majority view expressed by intelligence community analysts fully and accurately reflects the scope of the Chinese government's efforts to influence the 2020 federal election. This is a man who ingests it all, and he happily passes it on to you. Okay. The IC Analytic ombudsman issued a report, which I will reference several times below, that includes concerning revelations about the politicization of China election influence reporting and of undue pressure being brought to bear on analysts who offer an alternative view based on the intelligence. The ombudsman report, which is being transmitted to Congress concurrently with this intelligence community assessment, the ICA, also delves into a wider range of election security intelligence issues that I will not focus on here. But we will assume that obviously votes were sent via satellite to Spain, where they were translated into Spanish and then into Chinese, bounced to Beijing, back to Spain, sent through Germany, and then to Arizona. However, the specific issues outlined below with regard to China reporting are illustrative of broader concerns. It is important for all IC leaders to foster a culture within the community that encourages dissenting views that are supported by the intelligence. Therefore, I believe it is incumbent upon me in my role as the Director of National Intelligence to lead by example and offer my analytic assessment as a consumer passer of information. And passer. Assure you that I'm accurately articulating his findings from the and propaganda. Okay, the majority view expressed in this ICA with regard to China's actions to influence the election falls short of the mark on several specific reasons. Analytics Standard B requires it to maintain independence of political considerations. This is particularly important during times when the country is in a hyper-partisan state. However, the ombudsman found that, quote, China analysts were hesitant to assess Chinese actions as undue influence or interference. These analysts appeared reluctant to have their analysis on China brought forward because they tend to disagree with the administration's policies, saying in effect, I don't want our intelligence used to support those policies. This behavior would constitute a violation of the analytic standard. Furthermore, alternative view, So So their belief was that that Trump at that point. All right, well, I'm going to have to read more. It's hard to understand whose side he's on at this point. There were strong efforts to suppress analysis of alternatives in the August National Intelligence Council assessment on foreign election interference and associated IC products, which is a violation of the Tradecraft Standard 4 and our IRTPA Section 1017. Officials reported that Central Intelligence Agency officials rejected NJC coordination comments and tried to downplay the alternative analysis in their own production during the drafting of the NICA. Let's see, where does he get into this? Terms were applied, insistent, and blah blah blah. As a result, similar actions by Russia and China were assessed and communicated to policymakers differently, potentially leading to false impression that Russia sought to influence the election, but China did not. This is inconsistent with Tradecraft Standard 1. And does anybody think that the intelligence community was trying to convince people that China was not trying to influence the campaign at all, or that, quite frankly, that their efforts were relatively ham-handed compared to Russia? Later, blah, 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 blah. In the same spirit, I'm adding my voice in support of the state of minority view based on all available sources of intelligence. So basically, he was like, why are you guys always on about Russia just because they're more effective in what they do? China also wanted to do this, so I'm going to act as if China was the major player because we will attach China to Biden the way Trump is attached to Russia and hopefully get away with it. That seems to be the
out that day, but I'm getting sued because I said it. Remember that?
Yeah, that's not what he says. He didn't say that China sent ballots over with panda shit in the fibers of the paper.
8.6 billion. I don't know. It's so piled up, so I don't even know how many lawsuits. Well, so here on January 7th and 8th, they shut down 1.2 million Americans. And actually across the world, there were
yes, 1.6. Huh? Did he mean billion? Wait. Sorry, run that by me again. Shit.
Shut down 1.2 million Americans.
They shut down 1.2 million Americans
across the world.
Across the world, Americans all over the world.
There were churches. People that still were going to speak out got shut down, and everyone else was put into fear. So what happened?
Because there was a pandemic going on?
Was you had people that our real president lost his Twitter, lost his Facebook. Remember those days?
Yeah, because he fomented a violent attempted insurrection. Not for being a prick or talking shit about China. He didn't get kicked off there for saying China virus.
So they wanted to kill our voice forever.
Yeah, but they can't, obviously, and they have no control over Twitter. And sometimes Twitter did what the FBI asked because it was it aligned with their terms of service, and sometimes they didn't. And
I've used this analogy, and I'll use it again. When I
well, you're nothing if not original.
was a kid, we'd have black and white TVs. We'd turn them off, and they'd go to this little tiny white dot, blue dot, and we'd sit there, and who could get the dots this small? Before it went out, you turn it back on, it would come back to life.
Man, early video games were the shit.
Now, Grant, that dot was our voice, everybody. On those 2 days, that dot was so small you couldn't even see it.
All right. Well, that's a small dot.
We were Nazi Germany, about to be Nazi Germany, where nobody was.
We were Nazi Germany, about to be Nazi Germany. Right at the time when Nazi Germany was just becoming Nazi Germany, but they weren't aware that they were already Nazi Germany and were becoming Nazi Germany at the same time. It's very complicated.
Going to speak. Nobody had a voice, and if you did speak, you're hauled away, and the rest of them were put into fear.
Yes. Remind me who was hauled away. Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at. I know. I called up friends, and they didn't answer. I'm going, okay, I know you're there.
Or maybe they're not friends.
I put a post up on Facebook. I get 2 likes, and it's not even my brother, who I know.
I see. So the algorithm or the government is shutting you down on Facebook, but they're also making your texts not go through.
Oh yeah, that's normal. You didn't put on there that I'm not going to associate with you, Mike, right now. I thought I was getting. They didn't have to shadow ban me. They just nobody would like what I put. So.
It's almost like you were unpopular and saying shit that people went, largely, that's wrong. It's amazing how much they don't have to cancel you if most people agree you're annoying. This is the first episode of organic canceling we've ever seen. It happened individually. It was grassroots canceling. Everybody on their own just went, ugh.
But then
I'm sorry. I just love that.
But we got past those 2 days, and our voices got bigger. And I'll go to, I got my.
Yes, the 2 days of darkness. Absolutely. I mean, there's basically D-Day. There's Pearl Harbor, and then there's the 7th and 8th of January, where a violent attack on the Capitol had just happened, and you were part of a network of people that tried to make another one happen immediately, and were responsible in part for this one happening in the first place. And so there were a couple of days where people were like, maybe if you guys want to talk that kind of shit, maybe text each other and get the fuck off our social media platform that's for like top 10 best singer lists and micro blogging about your fucking lunch.
Evidence on January 9th of 2021.
2021. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
The next day, what's the odds that I get brought this evidence? And I got brought it because I had a big mouth. Maybe God put me near this platform that I could speak out and never stop talking.
Or, there's a lot of big mouths out there. Hi. Maybe it was brought to you because you're gullible and sponge-headed. And you're kind of a dick. And that would explain it also. I'm just saying Occam's rubber mallet being what it is. That was it. That's it. Maybe it's because I got a big mouth and you're stupid. Obviously, there are a lot of people with big mouths. If you brought it to them that even like Trump and would go, that's not even a thing. That's just horseshit. Who would even say this? Oh, Mike Pillow, dumb as they come is just Mike Pillow. Shit. This guy literally thinks that they brought him that information And by the way, we covered this. I covered this in all of his movies. And if you haven't seen those, you can go back and watch them. They're a joy. But his belief that he was given special information, or this code somehow showed that the election was stolen and all this kind of stuff, that was a demo of software. That's what he watched. We watched this motherfucker watch a software demo that didn't work, but that could trick you into thinking that it did if you were, sponge-headed, egotistical, and drug-addled, and desperate to find a win for Donald Trump, who was king of the losers. You're specially served up to believe that kind of shit. And it looked like a fucking game of Missile Command. And it was ass. It was just ass.
Moon River.
And the dude paid money for it. And if I was less ethical, the shit I could have drafted up and sold to that dickhead. Good Lord. So Mike Pillow, shame on you. You're a moron, and I gotta say, I don't understand how people still buy into this stuff. I mean, technically speaking, the audience is definitely shrinking. That's why they're going out live.